I was offered the job at Y&R, Young and Restless, to produce. And I was trying to decide, well, wait, do I do that, which is a really good, secure job, or do I try and stay in, primetime TV and everything?
Welcome. I'm your host, Josh, aka Jammore. Welcome to another installment of Jammore Interviews. Today, I'm bringing on a special guest. You've heard him in Star Wars Rebels, Big Hero 6, the Fallout video game series, Ultimate Alliance 3, and Avengers Assemble, and the list goes on and on and on. Can you guys please help me welcome and bring on multi-talented and versatile artist, David Shaugnessy. Welcome, how are you?
Good. I'm good, actually, here in cloudy Agora Hills.
It's cloudy over here, too. It's cloudy in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, yeah, it should be sunny. It's going to be sunny, but apparently next week.
Yeah, I can feel that. Well, sir, just before we get into the interview and the questions, I would just like to say how much of an honoring, humbling experience it is being able to talk to you today. I'm a huge fan of your work, from Star Wars Rebels to the Fallout video game series. Well, I'm just a massive fan of you, and I'm so glad to be speaking to you today. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come speak with me. So, hope to make it an enjoyable experience.
Well, thank you. Listen, it's an honor to be invited. Thank you so much. It's great. I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. So glad to hear that.
I hope I can give you good value.
Oh no! Like I said when I called you earlier, I will strangle it out of you. You'll be good. But the way I like to start off all of my interviews is with something I like to call off the dome, where you actually start the interview, where you can talk about anything at all, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to get off your chest. You can talk about the sleep you just had, food you just ate, anything at all, like anything. Like, the floor is yours.
I really don't have a lot to say, except I was pretty tired today because I directed on the show I direct yesterday, so I'm pretty exhausted, but still feeling good, and it was good to get done. But now that was a different hat. Now I'm on my voiceover mode, not my director mode. Different hat.
That's right. You are a director. You've directed a lot of TV shows and
yeah.
Stuff like that. Can you talk about what you're directing now, or?
Yeah, it's actually right now I'm on Days of Our Lives. And I directed and produced The Young, the Restless. I was producing it for 13 years and was executive producer at the end of that for about 3 years. That's where I kind of started, but I directed Bold and Beautiful. I actually, way back when, my first show was Santa Barbara. I directed a few episodes on, and I trained on Days of Our Lives way back in 87, 1983, before most people
were a thought in our parents' head.
Yeah. But so I trained then, but
you cut out for a little bit. You froze for a little bit there.
Oh, sorry. Shoot, maybe my it's probably Spectrum.
It's all these internet companies, yeah. So it sucks. I know that feeling. Like, sometimes I'll be editing something on my computer, I'll be doing schoolwork, and then it'll just like shut. It's like weird. I hate it.
Oh, it's ridiculous. They all try and blame you and say it's something to do with your connection. No, it isn't. It's the connection out there. You know perfectly well.
Trying to get some extra money out of you to upgrade. Like,
exactly. Yeah, right. About 6 times a week instead of 8.
Yeah. That's how these companies operate.
They roll, I'll tell you.
But I wanted to talk a little bit and get to know a little bit about you before we dive into your long body of work. And my first question is, how would you describe your childhood? How would you say it's influenced you specifically in terms of your entertainment career?
Well, both my parents were in the business. My mother was an actress called Jean Lodge, and then my dad, Alfred Shaugnessy, was a writer, and he directed a couple of movies early on, but then he wrote and he sort of he was the head writer and really kind of developer and story editor of Upstairs, Downstairs, which was a show that was on PBS, really the forerunner of, and in fact, a lot of the same stories of Downton Abbey, and Downton Abbey copied a lot of the stories that they did. So
I hear a lawsuit now.
Yeah. I know, no, it's true. It's absolutely true. But anyway, so so then the whole household was very much theatrical, and my brother is an actor, and so it kind of was in our blood. It was like that was the area that we were going to go in anyway. So and foolishly, I went that way. My brother almost became a lawyer. He wanted to be an attorney and have a real proper job, but then he gave up after 3 years of Cambridge University and law school. He said, hell with it. I want to be an actor. So that was it. So we're all in the business.
Cambridge. Oh, my God. That's like top of the top. That's wow.
Yeah. But he ended up being an actor.
I know that your brother has done some voice acting stuff himself. I was looking. He did a couple... I think he did a PBS show. I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head, but he's done it.
He's done he did the one he got an Emmy actually for was it Stanley the Fish?
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, Stanley the Fish he did. Yeah, and he got an Emmy for that too. Actually, it was amazing. Yeah. So
did you get to go?
No, I mean, actually, you know what? No, I was actually at the Emmys when he got it because we were getting one too. That was the year we both got one. I think it was. I'm trying to think of it. I think it was Best Show at Y&R. We got it, and he was there, and he got his, and I got one too. So we couldn't get one up.
It is so cool. Wait, do you like keep it in a special shelf, or do you have like a place you put it in? Or
no, I hate to say it, and I don't mean to sound over, but between my wife and myself, we have 7. So I have 4 and she has 3. So
okay, thank you for flexing on us, but
so tacky.
He just casually says, "Oh, I have 7. It's all good." Like what? This is
got a bunch of them, useless door stoppers,
Oh my gosh, that's great. That's a huge achievement. Like, congratulations on that. Like, that's a huge feat to win such a thing like that, man. Like, that is really, I know people are always like, screw that, screw the Academy, this and the third, but hell with that. Like, that's an award. Like, that's an achievement.
Oh, it's nice. You got them all lined up. It's like, I mean, it meant more in the old days when there were 15 shows, but the last 2 I got, I think there were 5 shows, and now we're down to 4. So, it's a little bit easier to get them. There's not quite the same level of competition as there was,
Right, there's so much stuff like with streaming, and they're always trying to make new things.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's changed. The whole business has changed so much now. It really has. It's a whole different ballgame. But the good side of it is there is so much more content. I mean, there is just ridiculous. But it's crazy because in the old days when just like sort of networks and a few shows, you can say, "Oh, have you seen so and so?" You say, "Oh no, I'll watch it." But now somebody says, "You've seen so and so." I say, "I've got 40 other shows that people are telling me to watch," and way too many.
I'm the same way. My friends would watch like this cartoon here, this HBO Max drama here, this action thriller. I'm like, I can't. There's not enough time in the day.
Too much. It's like the all-you-can-eat buffet. There's only so much you can eat before you start wanting to throw up.
Right. I just end up sticking to reruns anyway. So
catch up on the old ones.
Right. But one thing, I'm interested in, since you said that acting was kind of your family was in it from the start. I'm intrigued at your high school life, because high school for all of us is a really interesting time in our lives, because we're about to graduate, we're about to go start our own thing, going our own separate paths, and there are a lot of things that we do in high school that really cement what we want to do in the future, because we really do have to think about that. I mean, we're about to go to college, get degrees and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm intrigued. What were you engaged in high school, and did you see yourself ever doing anything else?
Funny, actually, I went to Eton College, which is, where Prince William and Prince Harry went. So it was very well funded, and they had a beautiful theater, gorgeous, brand new. It was like the state-of-the-art theater in England. And it was ridiculous. It was a high school. It was more technically advanced than any other theater in the country, which is absurd. But I sort of kind of acted a little bit when I was in like elementary school. But then when I got to high school to Eton, I was a drummer. I was into music. and I drummed, and we had a band. We supported Genesis when they came to the school to do a concert, and that was where I sort of kind of wanted to be. And academically, I was just just lazy. I just couldn't be bothered with it. And my brother was the actor at the school. He was always in all the school plays and playing the lead and everything. And then I suddenly thought, well, this actually might be kind of a good way out of academics. So I auditioned for this play and got the lead. And suddenly out of nowhere, all these friends of my parents who came to see the show said, you should send him to drama school. He should be an actor. So I said, yeah, get me out of this place, So I decided that this was something I thought might be interesting to pursue. So it wasn't really like a dream, but it was something I was interested in and enjoyed. And I auditioned for the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, which was like one of the top 2 schools in England. And I was 16 years old. So I was really too young. They said, we don't take people under 18. So they said he can audition just for the experience, but he's not going to get in. So I auditioned, and they accepted me. They said, oh, yeah, he can come. So I'm the youngest that's ever been to the Central School. I was the youngest student they ever had. And I that's it. And I sort of almost fell into it. And then I started enjoying it. Thought this is a great way to try and make a living. And that was it. And I just went from there. And that was it.
Let's take a moment. To listen to what this man is saying. He has flexed on us twice. 7 Emmys, and the youngest to go to a school which he didn't even think he was going to get into. Come on. Like, that is insane. Holy, that's not some shit. Listen, that's not something I could do. That's really cool, man. Like, you really had... I'm really interested about your drumming, though, because I love drums. I love drums so much. That is... If I was to play instrument, drums is like my first love. I love them so much. Do you still play like from occasion, or?
I do. I now have a set of Roland V drums, but I used to play them more than I do now, but not much anymore. I don't really. The thing about being a drummer is such a pain is you can't just play on your own. Like with guitar, you can just play, and piano you can play. But drums, you got to have, a rhythm section. You got to have a bass player, and you got to have other people. So you can't really do much on your own, which is the tricky bit. But no, I just found it was a great release, as well. It's a great tension releaser, and you just feel great. And it's a good workout too.
Yeah, you gotta like hit the pedals and like move your arms in different ways and hit the cymbals. Yeah. Shoot, I would be sweating like crazy. After one song, I'd be sweating like a dog in the heat. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool that you've done so much stuff, like not even just music, but like you said in the beginning, you're a director. I saw that you produced, you've written. How do you say doing all of these things has helped you become more of a better artist as you've gotten older in this industry?
Well, I mean, I guess appreciation, because, as an actor, you have a very clear idea of how what you are and how you're important and your process and everything, and then as a director, you start to understand, because you've been an actor, or you are an actor, so you can understand more, and you can understand how that actor, wants to work. And I always pride myself as a director. I will never give anyone a move or make them do anything that I wouldn't be happy to do as an actor in a performance. I would always make sure that it's something I would be comfortable with and would make sense to me. So that, I think, helps me, work with actors and understand actors more, because having been there, I'd never make them do something that it would be awkward for me to. Or if I have to, I'd say, look, I know this is really weird, but could you just do this? So, so it's an appreciation and an understanding of how it all works, Same thing as being a producer, because you're basically a director as well, and giving notes to actors. I know how to talk to an actor, how to express what I want. You sort of kind of, on the same level.
Yeah, and that is such a beautiful thing that you have that appreciation and understanding of how the process works. Because, sometimes, a lot of the time, some actors, just stick to acting, and that's what they're good at, which is awesome for them. But you have such a vast array and knowledge of how the industry works, working behind the camera and in front of the camera. You know what goes into making a film, because it really does take a village to make something come to life, ranging from video games to cartoons to live action. It takes a lot of work, and for
Right.
you to be able to fully understand that, I just know that that makes you an even better artist. I mean, you're a phenomenal actor, but I know that like these things help you become a better artist as you've gotten older in this industry. So
Yeah.
that's a
No,
beautiful thing to have.
full experience. Yeah.
And that's one thing I like doing right now with my friends, is we make short films and we just pass around ideas and stuff. It really helps me come to appreciate what goes into a film, because we're doing things that, would take so many other people, but it's just us three. It's just us three doing everything.
Right.
And just seeing how much time and dedication goes into this makes me appreciate this industry so much more. And I just love it.
It is. It's as you said, it takes a village. It really does. It's a lot of people involved in it.
Oh, yes. I looked, and the first thing you did was a TV series. It was it's a military series. It was something about.
Oh yeah, Danger UXB. That was like one of my first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say you've done a lot of on-camera work. So I'm interested. How were you introduced into the VO world?
Well, it actually started when I was coming over here in 1986. In 1985, I had done a movie called Labyrinth with Jim Henson, and that was it was great. I did like one of the main characters and a whole bunch of other little voices in it. And when I was coming over here, I talked to Jim, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing next?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to LA," and he said, "Well, let me help you. Let me set you up." And so he very kindly set me up with an agent over here that he put me in touch with, and his production company, obviously Henson. And so I came over here with those connections. He was the one who actually connected me over here, which was great. And so having done that, then I kind of I did a few more on-camera things, but then I had this agent and I started going into voiceovers and I started getting voiceover work, and that's when it started. And then when I went into producing on The Young and the Restless, I had to stop. There was a whole 13 years where I just couldn't do it. It was a 9 to 5. It was every single day. There was no time for me to do it. But then as soon as I left there and I started directing in Bold and Beautiful, which was sort of kind of part-time, then I managed to pick it up again. But yeah, that was it was really Labyrinth that got me going in it.
Like, what was that experience like meeting Jim Henson? What? Like,
it was great. It was really nice because we did the voices in London, and actually we recorded the song, the Dance Magic Dance. We did that at Abbey Road, which was really cool. So we went to Abbey Road, recorded it in Studio One at Abbey Road, where the Beatles recorded all their stuff. And when I did, because I was doing these other little characters, and then Jim needed somebody for Sir Didymus, and he was auditioning people left, right, and center, but I was already kind of there doing these other voices, and he said, "You want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah." And it was really me, Jim, and Brian, Jim's son, who played Hoggle, and it was just the three of us, basically, in the studio for like 10 days, 12 days, or whatever it was. And it was really amazing because he was one of the nicest, kindest, sweetest men I've ever known. He was so gentle, so laid back, so encouraging, just a really, really great guy. And he was a tremendous loss to this business, I think.
I mean, yeah, like look at all the stuff that he's like made, and really like the Muppets, just like how iconic that is, and all the stuff he's done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His legacy is amazing, absolutely amazing. The whole Muppet thing, and from then on, it was all him, And he was incredible. He was amazing. He went way, way too early.
I know you've been in this industry so long, to meet all these great people and just work with them must be amazing. That's one thing I love about interviews, is meeting great people like you, and the tons of other people I've spoken to, is just hearing your guys' stories and learning and gaining knowledge is something that I've always appreciated and loved as a kid, because I love history. Love history till the day I die. Like, I love just learning and hearing people's journeys through this industry. It's so inspiring to me as someone who is trying to break into this industry, just learning each of your stories and hearing where you all started and where you really got big. Because for me, sometimes I feel like there's a pressure to not to make it all about me, but I just sometimes feel like it's a pressure to get there at a certain time period, or to just work harder and harder and harder, because you guys have been in this industry for so long. So I just sometimes feel the pressure. But just looking at your guys' body of work and seeing how long it took you to get where you guys are at is extremely inspiring to me. So just thank you.
I'll tell you, and a lot of it, I gotta say, a lot of it is luck. It really is. That it's so much of it about it's just being in the right place, being in the right time, whatever. And funny, you're talking about names. I was just telling the story today at this brunch we're having some friends, when I trained as a director, as a multi-camera director, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I'd done 3 episodes of Santa Barbara. I'd done, I think, 3 episodes of Bold and Beautiful or something, and that was it. And I really hadn't had much experience. And my agent at the time got me this job directing these 2 television plays for A&E, for the Arts and Entertainment, in New York. And I found myself directing Olympia Dukakis, Gavin MacLeod, and Ed Herman, Anthony Edwards, and Annette O'Toole. And then they had wraparounds that they were doing for these plays. And the executive producer, Gladys Niederlander, said, "Would you direct the wraparounds?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. Who's doing them?" She said, "Lauren Bacall." so I was like, okay. So this kid who just really, my agent got me this job because I had done theater, and now I kind of knew, multi-camera TV-ish. I hadn't really practiced it much, but and I'm suddenly doing this. And it's like, that's how crazy it can be. Just nuts. And I went to New York, and I was offered the job at Y&R, Young and Restless, to produce. And I was trying to decide, well, wait, do I do that, which is a really good, secure job, or do I try and stay in, primetime TV and everything? And I couldn't decide. And I was meeting with Olympia Dukakis in the bar of the hotel, this Marriott hotel that I was staying in Times Square. And she came to the bar, and we had a drink. And I was saying, and it was a piano bar. And I was saying to her, I don't know what to do. Do I go and take this job at the Young and the Restless, or do I, and she's saying, well, it depends what you want to do. And she got one sentence out of her mouth, and I swear to God, the pianist started playing the theme from the Young and the Restless. Now, why would he be playing that in the middle of a piano bar in the middle of New York City? Started playing the Lara's theme, the ding, 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 ding. And I thought, oh my God. And it was like, it's a sign. So I did it. But I mean, that's how weird life can be, and this business just takes you places you have no idea where you're going, and you just go along for the ride,
Enjoy the journey all the way.
Yeah.
You had an amazing journey. And the first time I got introduced to you was through one of my favorite animated shows, Star Wars Rebels. I really appreciate this show. Of course, on that show, you play Aresko and Grint.
Yeah.
Saying that right? Grint, right?
Yep, Aresko and Grint. Yeah.
There we go. Yes. And 2 really great characters that Dave Filoni helped create, and just you brought your vocal talent towards. But I'm interested, what was your experience with Star Wars pre-working on Rebels?
Well, actually, this Star Wars itself is quite interesting. I have a story for you. When I was at drama school at the Central, Carrie Fisher was the year below me. And Carrie was in the year below me, and I knew Carrie pretty well. And she left before she finished the 3rd year. When I was in my 3rd year, she left her 2nd year to go and do the original, the movies. And we had a pub in Swiss Cottage, which was North London, where we always used to go at the end of every day working at the Central. And she kept turning up with Mark Hamill. So the 2 of them would come from the set and meet us for drinks at the pub. So we were getting all the stuff about this movie. She said, I don't even know what's going on. It's like there's a lot of green screen, and they just tell us to do this stuff. And and Mark Hamill was saying, yeah, I don't know. I had to do this something. I had no idea what the heck it was, because they put it what it was. So we had all these stories when they were actually making the movie in the sort of first few weeks of shooting. It was kind of an interesting time.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. You got to meet those 2 of the main ones in the movie.
Yeah. And they were so funny because I said they had no idea what it was doing. They said, well, we can't really say too much, but we don't really know what's going on much because it was all pieces and green screen and script and stuff, and they didn't really, know what was going on.
Just goes to show you don't know what could come out of what you're doing. Seriously.
Yeah.
Now look at Star Wars. We're on to multiple TV series like The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan and the movies that are coming and the animated shows and the video games and the comics. Like, this has really spawned a multifaceted franchise that has really influenced the lives of so many.
Yeah.
And it's just really awesome to see where it's headed.
You know, very quickly, do you know the story about how Star Wars was made, how it got made? Because Lucas wanted to make it. He gave the script to was it Universal, I think, but it was. They didn't really have the budget for this thing, but they had made some movie, and I don't know what movie it was, out in like Tunisia, somewhere out in Europe, in Tunisia, I think it was. And there was money left over in the budget sitting in the banks, and they couldn't like transfer it back to America. So there was this money sitting there. So they said, well, if you want to shoot it out there, you can use that budget. So they went out and shot it out there. I mean, they did the studio stuff in London, but then all the location stuff is because that budget was sitting out there and the money was just sitting there. They couldn't get it out. So that's when they went off and shot it there.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I know Lucas must have been so happy to finally get it.
It was almost not made.
And that's crazy to think about, a world without Star Wars. Like, that goes back to what I'm saying, how iconic this franchise is, like influencing so many around the world, influencing one man, Dave Filoni, who made Star Wars Rebels. Yeah. What was your experience working with Dave Filoni? I've heard so many great things about him and how he's so hands-on with the team and how he's just like this big Star Wars encyclopedia.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's amazing. I mean, you want a history of the Star Wars? He just has it right there. I mean, he's amazing. And he would describe things, and we were all sitting there, and he'd tell the whole story and all the details of what was all happening. It's just amazing. His mind is just incredible, full of this creativity, and he's so enthusiastic. He just generates this energy and this enthusiasm, which is just great. Yeah. Oh yeah. He was good. He's a great guy to work with.
Yeah, and just seeing where he's going now with the live action side of stuff now. He's kind of moving away from the animation stuff more towards the live action Disney side. Is just really awesome to see someone who I've heard multiple times described as this really nice guy who knows what he's doing. And Lucas is his right-hand man, so Star Wars is in really good hands. Aresko and Grint, you never see them separate. They're always together. What did you like about their dynamic?
Of Aresko and Grint, they were it was the opposites, the whole thing of the sort of funny opposite, but more slightly more upper class, rather pompous, and then just the sort of the grunt, Grint the grunt, So there was kind of fun to do. It was fun just to do the silly voices. I mean, I did them both at the same time, and it was just cut from one to the other, But it was, it was fun. I was sad when they both got decapitated at the same time.
Did you get to meet Jason Isaacs?
Trying to think if I met Jason. Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because he played that Inquisitor that killed both of those guys.
Yes, no, Jesse, yeah. Because it was difficult. Sometimes we did it all in a group, sometimes we just went in individually. So, but yeah, I think he was in that one. A couple of times we did the group thing. Yeah.
Oh, so kick-ass. Another legend. What helped you the most in creating those two's voices?
Just, that's actually a very good point. Always the artwork, it's like, that's so important, even with voiceover auditions. And that's one of my bugbears is that, they never give you, or very rarely do they give you artwork. And it's so helpful to an actor to be able to see what is that person like, because you won't know. You'll do an audition, and you might get some feedback. Yeah, it's just that we sort of saw him as thinner and taller. It's like, well, then show me a picture, then I can do it. I can get it. But it's very, very hard when you just get this bit of dialogue and a sort of fairly generic description of what they're looking for. And I think sometimes it's because they don't know. They often have no idea. They're not really sure what they're looking for or what they want. They kind of have a vague idea, and then they're waiting for the voice to tell them they like that voice, that performance, and then they'll do it. But it's sort of kind of a little unfair because you have much more opportunity if you know what they're looking for and you see the artwork, then you can, then you know what you're giving, I remember when I did this series way back called Peter and the Pirates with Tim Curry, like in the 1990, I think it was like early. And I remember I went for this, the audition for this character of Starkey, and they said, can you be 10 pounds lighter? And I said, what? I said, yeah, can you be 10 pounds? Can you lose 10 pounds? And I mean, what does that mean, lose 10 pounds? So I said, okay, so they want me a little thin. So, okay. So I just put it up a couple of registers. I made it a little higher pitched, sort of that, yeah, that's it, yeah. Do it 10 pounds? Yeah, okay.
That's an interesting thing because I know sometimes it really depends on some artists. Sometimes the description helps a lot. Sometimes they want the way the character looks. But all the time I hear one constant is like that art is key. Like they want to see the art, to see the character. Always.
Yeah, makes your life a lot easier. It makes the job so much easier. And that was the thing with Aresko and Grint. You could see, he was a big guy, and then there was the thing. So it was sort of easy, it was great. It was nice, and you could see what they sounded like. But if you hadn't had the artwork, you'd just been lost. You wouldn't know what,
Those characters appeared. You appeared in 6 episodes total for Star Wars Rebels, but another series of stars that you appeared in for 6 episodes is Star Wars Resistance.
Oh yeah, Drell. Yeah.
Drell. Yeah. If you had to describe Drell for people who aren't aware of the character, how would you describe him?
I don't know, just slimy sort of, comes to mind. Just a slimy, untrustworthy, don't trust him as far as you could throw him.
What was great about Rebels and what was also great about Resistance? Because people love Rebels, but I don't hear a lot of fanfare for Resistance. But what did you enjoy about both series in general?
The work.
Always.
No, they were great. I mean, it was fun because, as I said, it's nice to do a series where, even though it was there were quite a few times where we were all together, and it's just really nice to be able to play off other actors and to be able to actually play as a cast, as a team. It makes a big difference, and a lot of other shows, you kind of go in and do your thing, and that's tough, but I really enjoyed that. And there was a lot of humor, a lot of camaraderie. Everybody was really great to be around. So with Dave, he used to get amazing stories, and the show was great. I mean, it was fun. It was really good. It was very clear what you were doing, and it was just sort of nice stuff to get your teeth into,
Okay, gotta ask this: Aresko and Grint versus Drell.
What about what? Like who wins?
Like they go head to head fighting.
I know they're all so different. I mean, they were all three sort of different. I mean, Aresko and Grint were great because it was nice to play that kind of play off myself, as it were, because at least they had this little sort of banter going on between the two of them, and it's kind of fun to do both parts because I'm greedy like that. Drell was just a little different. He's a bit more of a loner, a bit more, a bit less, and a bit of a smaller part. Really, he didn't really do as much. So that's all I can really think of to say about that. Really, yeah. But I loved Aresko and Grint. They were fun. I wish they'd stayed longer.
Me too. I really enjoy those characters, but characters die all the time with these franchises. So, but what I think is interesting now is we're seeing some of these animated characters brought to live action, like Ahsoka and Cad Bane and Bo-Katan. Do you think there's room for seeing those two characters in a live action format?
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. There's such clearly defined characters. I think they'd be kind of fun, in a live out. Absolutely. Yeah, I think they're going. And yeah, I don't know. I doubt I'd get to play any of them. Certainly not both, because that would be tough.
Maybe Aresko's Imperial or overhead. The guy's over him. You could play him.
Yeah, his commandant or whatever. Yeah.
But another massive franchise you've been a part of is the Marvel franchise as the villainous Klaw. I love what your take on Klaw. It sounds like Andy Serkis, but it isn't. I love that because I associate with Klaw Andy's Serkis because of what he did in Age of Ultron and Black Panther. Phenomenal job, Klaw. What was done, Andy did for Klaw. Were you going for Andy Serkis, or like what did they tell you to do for that character?
Not really, actually. To be absolutely honest with you, I wasn't. I was really just focusing on the South African, on the Afrikaans accent, really, more than anything else. And again, the artwork was fairly clear because he was a much bigger, sort of rather beefier character. So, put a little beef into a little more, put a few more pounds on, and a South African accent, and that was kind of all I thought of, and that was fun. It was again short-lived, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, such a cool character. Are you a fan of the Marvel films?
Yeah, my kids are far more of a fan than I am. I haven't really watched that many, but I have to admit. But yeah, no, I mean they keep saying you got to watch them, you got to watch the franchise. So I shall probably have to watch them at some point.
There's so many, but yeah, truly there are a lot of great ones out there that I think you'd enjoy. But recently, though, I gotta tell you, I've been stuck on the Batman. Like I just love that movie.
Oh man, yeah. It's so funny. I mean, there's like this amazing resurgence. It was like that. They were right way back in like the 70s, 80s. The TV and all that, and then sort of kind of went. And then now all of these, this massive resurgence of these franchises. Incredible. I wonder if it's anything to do with the fact that, with the technology and CGI and everything, that it's so much easier to do and you can do so much more and make it more explosive. So they realize this is the time to, now you can't, because the old days you couldn't do a lot of that. It was all
practical. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. All practical, or it all had to happen off camera with reaction to it. Now you can do whatever you want.
That's really interesting is to see the progression of technology, especially in the film industry, just to seeing what they can do nowadays. And stuff like now, that's why George Lucas was waiting to do the prequels to wait for the technology to evolve so he could fully do what he wanted to do with the Star Wars prequels. I know people have their opinions, but that's why George Lucas waited so he could finally bring to life his vision of a Star Wars where he could have these green screens and these explosives and these ship battles, because he couldn't really do all of that back in the day. He had to wait. So and then we got what we got. I know for Klaw, you came back for Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3. Was that a case of like, oh, they heard you for Avengers Assemble and wanted to bring you back, or did you have to audition for Klaw again for that one?
No, I think no, they just brought me back. They just wanted me to do that as a separate deal. Yeah, just come back and do it again, which was fun. It was quite a while after it too. I almost forgot I had to get reference audio so I could remember what it did.
I mean, he even looks different there too, because in the Avengers Assemble, it's more like human with a robotic arm, and that he's in the game, he's red and has a arm.
Right,
He's very different, very different.
yeah, totally different. Yeah, no, I just heard the voice again and figured I'd try it again.
Such a cool voice. I really love that voice. Really cool. Well, another character that you've done that I love was in Big Hero 6 as HeathCliff.
Welcome home, Master Frederick.
HeathCliff, my man.
What a great character. And now with the series that came out, when did that come out? Like 2017, the Big Hero 6 series came out, right? I think.
Yeah, it was about a year or two before the pandemic, I guess. Yeah, I think I was still doing the last one. I think I did the Cobra one, I want to say in 2019, I thought, maybe 18, 19, I think, yeah.
Wow. How much of yourself do you see in HeathCliff, and what do you like about what they did with HeathCliff to expand upon him in the show?
I sort of, it was hard to get it because when I did the movie, it was like one line. So we kind of had to create this whole character around this, one little quick line. And then suddenly when the series came, I actually had to speak. But I was really happy that they finally, because I always thought there was more to him than, in the show than they were kind of perhaps working with. And I thought, why can't he have this history, this backstory? Because he was like helping them train. So how did he know that? Where did that come from? And I thought he's got to be an old agent, from way back. And sure enough, the episode came, and I was so happy to read that. I thought, oh, this is what I wanted. This is what it should have been. And then it was great. And that was the greatest fun. I love that episode. I wish there were more of I wish there was more of him, but it was right at the end, so that was it.
Yeah. And it's really, I really was glad when they decided to bring you back too, because I know sometimes they change it around, or sometimes the actor can't come back to the role, or money issues, or something like that. But I was really glad that they stuck to bringing you back from the movie to.
My agent asked. I said, "Hey, listen, why are they doing a series?"
Oh, wow, okay, cool.
So, yeah, so the agent said, "Hey, listen, what about having David come back?" So, yeah.
Shout out to your agent. And another role so many roles that you've done that I love, but this one in particular, I was researching. I did not know anything at all about this character, but Lord Hastings in the Order 1886.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What an underrated video game. Like, that is such an interesting and fascinating world that I don't hear a lot of gamers talking about, but it's just, there's so much there, especially with your character with that twist too. It's like, what the heck? What fascinates you about the world of the Order of 1886 when you first read it?
Well, the first thing was it was my first mocap. I hadn't done mocap before, so that was kind of interesting. And I saw it. It was so filmic. It was very, very filmic, the whole thing. And I wonder sometimes because I thought it was brilliantly done, it was beautifully done, and the look was fantastic. And I sort of wonder whether I think a lot of people maybe thought there wasn't enough game to it, because it was so cinematic. But I love that. I love that about it. I thought it was wonderful, and I love the character, and that was a fun thing to do. And he was much thinner than me. Quite a lot of computer graphic editing on that, I think. Up him. He was a real smarmy character. I liked him. It was fun to do.
Such a cool voice. Were you surprised with the twist with this character?
Well, I knew pretty early on, obviously from the script, but I thought it was a nice little twist that he was Jack. Yeah, I liked that idea. I thought, that's nice. Yeah, okay. So it gave me a little something extra to sort of plant into the beginning.
Yeah. So cool, man. I really wish they would have done more with that series. Maybe they'll do a prequel or something. Who knows? They always do prequels and sequels and whatever.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they did none of those, because that was fun. That was really good fun.
Have you done mocap since then?
Yeah. Done a couple more. There was a new game coming out, which I can't talk about. But yeah, we did that, and actually during the pandemic too. And then I did. The other one was the Rhythm of the Universe, the Ionia. I did a little mocap, and I did a character on that one. Did a character of a Babaton, and that was my second mocap. And then this other project was a third. So I've done 3 times now. Yeah.
Wow, nice. To go back to Klaw really quick, I wanted to know this. Klaw was in the recent Marvel Avengers video game, but it was given to Steve Bloom. Were you aware that Klaw was in the video game at all, or did you audition or anything like that?
No, I didn't actually know anything about that. I didn't know that was the case. No, but they seem to have a lot of different people and different interpretations of it. I think that's the thing. So there are a lot of people seem to have done him, done the character at some point.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, whoa, what the heck? There's more people than I thought. Because Klaw's kind of like this sort of obscure character. Obviously, with the Marvel movies, he's being more known as this villain. But like before, like Black Panther and Age of Ultron, that was kind of like a character that wasn't really touched upon as much. But now we're seeing like him in shows and games and all this.
Oh yeah.
But now I want to transition to my fun part of my interviews called Weird and Wacky. So we have 1 minute to answer a series of weird and random questions. No one has beaten the record of 15 questions, although the current championship title holder is Simon Norfleet with a record of 14 questions answered. Do you think you could beat him?
Oh, man. I'll do my best.
All right. I'm about to start the timer. Oh, my back. All right. I'm about to start the timer. And, I'm not gonna stop. There we go. Okay. How to get there? Technology, right? What a bummer.
Oh, gotta love it.
Yeah. I'm gonna start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Favorite genre of music?
Sorry, your favorite genre? Oh, right now, jazz. I'm really into jazz right now.
Favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Dumbest thing you did as a kid?
Oh man, stole a gnome out of someone's garden.
Favorite first pet's name?
Wacky.
Favorite vacation you've ever gone on?
Probably I want to say Yugoslavia.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Would you rather be bitten by a dog or stung by a bee?
Stung by a bee.
Would you rather not be able to wear shoes, or would you rather not be able to wear a shirt?
Not be able to wear a shirt.
Favorite dinner item?
Favorite dinner item? Tuna.
First TV show you fell in love with?
Oh shoot, that's not me.
What was your favorite? What was the show again?
I think Batman, the first one, the early Batman with
Adam West.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's a good one. I remember that. That was one of my first shows too. That was a great one.
Batman. I saw the episode 1 of Doctor Who. I actually saw the very first one with William Hartnell. Yeah.
Wow. I'm interested. Like, how was it to come from like the UK life to like how we sort of operate over here?
You know, it's much more different than you think, because, you know, the language is the same and you kind of think it's the same, but it really culturally is so different. But actually my grandmother is American. She died years ago, but she's American. She was from Nashville, from Tennessee. So my dad is on that side. We're American anyway. In fact, her great uncle was Polk, James Knox Polk, the 11th president. So so I've got quite a big American heritage. It's weird.
He just dropped that. What the heck? I didn't know. That's so crazy. What? Wow.
Yeah, that's on my grandmother's side, and on my grandfather's side, he was Canadian, but his dad was American. So they came from Ireland to America, to Chicago and Milwaukee, and then he became one of them. Became the chief of police of I think of Milwaukee, and then they moved up to Canada, and my great-grandfather was the Canadian Pacific Railroad president of the CPR. It's all very bizarre.
All over the place you are. Well, David, it's been so much fun getting to talk to you, getting to know so much more about your journey in this industry. And again, thank you so much for making this a really enjoyable and amazing experience. My final question to you is, what is your current message to the world during these current times that we live in? Obviously, we're still going through a pandemic. Laws are being changed around the world. Things are happening. We have the situation in Ukraine and stuff like that. What would you say to people who are just down and in need of a little bit of hope?
You know, it's cyclical. It happens. We go through this. The planet's gone through these sort of things. I think just stay positive, and to sort of help things, put your egos aside at all times and try to live, you know, just communicating and connecting with others. You know, that's the best way to go.
Absolutely, and just spreading that light and love and positivity wherever you go, and just helping as much as you can. You know, we're all in this together. As much as we want to say we're different, we're really all in this together.
Absolutely.
Go through.
We're all every soul is connected. I really believe it. We're all connected.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Well, David, before I let you go, can you give me a shout out in the voice of Klaw?
The Klaw. Absolutely. It was very good to hear from you. Thank you for letting me do this. It's been a great pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, but now it's probably time to go. So thank you. I appreciate it.
So thank you so much. Have fun with your family. Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day, sir. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much. It's been fun. Take it easy.
Absolutely. Till next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.